Okay, yo, what is poppin', guys? We're gonna start this episode off with the first thing and the most important thing, of course, which is just to say a huge thank you for taking the time out of your day to consume this piece of content, whether you are watching this in video format or whether you're listening to this on an audio-based platform like SoundCloud or any other podcast streaming application. Guys, I really do appreciate it. To give you a little context before we dive into the main show, which for today is gonna be a classic Q&A, what you are listening to is In Your Ears with Matt Ross. And what that is, let me give you an explanation. So there's a guy by the name of Gary Vaynerchuk. Big shout out to Gary V. He's got something called the Gary V audio experience. And I wanted to have something similar, an umbrella platform, an umbrella way to brand all the audio content that I put out. And it was with this in mind that I didn't want to copy him and say, oh, the Matt Ross audio experience. So instead, what I decided to do was just call this In Your Ears with Matt Ross. So it's all the audio content. It's going to be these kind of shows where I'm sitting down and I'm just talking or answering questions. It's going to be rants that I have on different topics, I think, which might be prevalent or useful to you as the listener. It might just be a snippet from a guest talk that I do for a workshop or something along those lines. So let me introduce you and let me welcome you to In Your Ears with Matt Ross. This is the overall audio experience that you're going to be enjoying, and it's going to be going live onto all platforms from SoundCloud, Podbean, Anchor, a whole bunch of them. It's literally going to be dropping. It's going to be going live every 2 weeks. There will be a new show on a new topic, and yeah, I think that overall gives you the understanding of what this audio show is going to be about, and that while there might be different sections, there might be one of these ones where I'm just sitting down and talking, and there might be those others I mentioned before. All of it is going to fall under this experience called In Your Ears with Matt Ross. Also, before we hop into it, I know I just said that we get into it. I don't want to waste your time. That is the worst fucking thing anybody can do. I just want to say that if you are consuming this, it would mean a lot if you hit the subscribe button or the follow button on whatever platform you are consuming this on. And the reason why I say this is I'm going to be putting out the content, but it has little to no use if there's no audience consuming it. I'm always going to do my best to give the best quality content, to add as much value as I humanly can in these episodes, but I do need people to be able to consume it, and I'm going to try and focus on giving you guys value. And if you could in return hit the follow, that would mean the absolute, and I don't say this lightly, the absolute fucking world to me. I would really appreciate it. All right, so let's hop into the good stuff. I asked on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you name the social media platform, I asked on it. Gotta have some coffee with you, is to send in a whole bunch of questions for the first Q&A, and we got in a few. I've got a page here that I'm going to just read the questions off, and we're going to answer them. I would like to say a huge thank you to every single one of you Matt attackers that actually sent in questions. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to do my best to add value to it, and then also, I forgot to include this in the beginning, but there will be swearing in my podcast. It is explicit. It's how I express myself, so there might be a fuck or shit in between here. Know that I'm not doing it to chase clout or to be funny or anything. It's just how I speak. All right, so the first question of the day comes in from Tegan. She says, do you have a bucket list? If you do, what is on it? And if you don't, what would you put on your bucket list? Okay, this is a good question because I don't actually have a physical list that I like follow, and I'm like, oh, I gotta go do this or that or this or that. There are, however, a few things I can see myself doing in the future. I just haven't like written it down. The one of which is I have to. I absolutely have to, before I die and before she dies, I have to take my mother to Italy, and we need to eat pasta and like eat a gelato, or like we need to do something super conventional like that, something Italian like that. In terms of my bucket list, I only have two goals, and any of you who are avid Matt attackers are the people who follow my content. For those of you who are new to this, you'll know that I only really have two main passions in life. The first of which is traveling the world. I love traveling. It's like the one main thing that pushes me. And the second is inspiring you guys to do the shit that you love, whatever that happens to be. It can be becoming the best, most intellectual, most well-informed individual about capuchin monkeys in the Amazon. It can be selling sneakers. I don't care. I just want you guys to do the shit that you love. And so all the content I put out, whether that is an image on Instagram or whether it's a podcast like this, tries to serve that purpose of motivating you to do that shit. So, excuse me. So it's with that in mind that with my bucket list, I want to travel the world, and I do actually have on my phone a list of literally every single country in the world. And as I have visited them, I put so I don't know if you use Apple. For any Apple users, you will know if you type in the name of a country, and let's say South Africa or Indonesia or Australia or whatever, it will pop up the flag, just a little tip. And then once I've visited that country, then I will put the flag in saying that I've visited it. So on my bucket list, I would absolutely love to visit every single country in the world. That would be absolutely incredible. And I think this is an important point, is a lot of motherfuckers, they want to go and they want to achieve their life goal in a year or 2 years. That, I want to make $1 million. I want to retire by I'm 30. Let me give you this point of view. Why on earth, if this is the one thing that you want to do for the balance of your life, why on earth are you trying to rush it? And that's the way I look at my goals, whether it is traveling or inspiring people. I can never finish traveling. There's always going to be something new to see. I can never finish inspiring people because there's always going to be someone new to inspire. And so I have rigged my goals that I can never finish, which means I can literally do it from now when I'm 24 until I turn 96 and I die. Like, I think that that's something that's really unique, and it's a cool way to approach it, because then you can never be finished, which means you're always inspired, which means you're always working towards something, which is fantastic. Because for anybody who is successful, for anybody who's achieved anything, they will tell you, and you can hold me on this, they will tell you that the journey of getting to where they wanted to be was far more important than actually arriving at the destination. And it's a cliche for a motherfucking reason. All right, so Tegan, I hope that answers it. My bucket list is to travel the world. And there are certain moments like eating pasta in Italy with my mom or swimming in the warm baths in Iceland that I would love to do, but I don't actually have a specific list. Cool. All right, the next one comes in from Greg. Actually, this is kind of cool because it follows in from the travel theme. What was your favorite place you've traveled? Okay, so I've been to a few places. As a kid, I did magic competitions I did a magic competition, like literally magic, doing magic shows. In Las Vegas, that was amazing. I went to Toronto for magic camp. That was also dope. I've also been to Mauritius, Reunion Island on a cruise ship. I think I've lived in India. Sorry, I'm just thinking of all these different things. I've been to a few different places, but I think what really the best way to answer this, or the most truthful way to answer this, is that every single place I've traveled to, Greg, every single place I've gone to has had something special about it that made it a favorite of the trip. I cannot say that there's one place solely that I love the most. So when I went to London, I enjoyed the fact that I felt like I was steeped in history. Like I could just feel that there was hundreds of years of history. It's crazy. Like it gives us this aura. That was amazing for there. Bali was absolutely mind-blowing. The forests and the monkeys and the waterfalls, absolutely beautiful. Cape Town will always be home for me. India was insane because I lived in Mumbai and I could literally go out at like, I don't know, 1 a.m. in the morning and go and get a fucking slice of pizza if I wanted to. So that was incredible for that reason. And so I think for anybody who travels, they will share a similar sentiment, maybe potentially, that every single place has a unique thing about it that makes it special. So I hope that answers it. I can't say that I have a favorite place, but yeah, that would definitely, I think every place has its own unique vibe about it. All right, the next one comes in from Anna, and she says, what is the most difficult thing regarding your career that you have had to do? Oh shit, that's a good question. The most difficult thing I've had to do regarding my career. I don't think there's a single thing. Similar to Greg's question, I don't think there's a single thing that was the most hard to do, but I think overall, whether it's with modeling, whether it is with influencing, whether it's with YouTube, is the need to be patient. I'm not naturally a patient person. I'm very impatient. If I want to do something, then I set to do it and I just want to like get it done. It's the reason why I chose to write the book, wrote a book, published it, and started making first sales within a month. I'm a very, very impatient person, but that to me has been the most difficult thing, is learning to be patient. Because, and let me tell you this with truth coming from one of the most impatient people you'll meet, is that all good things take time. Once again, another cliche, it is a cliche for a reason. Good things take time. And even going back and taking my own advice on what I said about goals, is if it's something you want to do, there's no need to rush it if it's a life goal. So I think that's been the most difficult thing for me, is learning to be patient and accepting that things might take longer than you expect them to. Yeah, it's a good question. Flip, man, you guys are awesome. All right, jumping on to Bradley's question. He said, what has been your most exciting travel moment? Okay, a lot of travel questions in this one. Most exciting travel moment, once again, there's a few different places, different highlights. I think one of the most special trips would have been, I went over to, oh man, they're all so good though. Okay, but I'm gonna choose one, but please know that every single trip I go on to, there are highlights. When I went over to Bali, for example, that was a super special trip. It was the first one I funded completely by myself. And it was like, for me, it was a significant moment to be able to say like, your goal, your dream to travel the world can be funded and can be achieved by yourself. So that was a landmark moment, sorry. The one that really stands out though, and I don't know, I think it's just because Europe and the UK hold such a big appeal to me, would be having coffee with my brother in Paris after seeing Notre Dame at like 10 o'clock at night, sitting there and having probably the weakest cappuccino I've ever had. But that's besides the point. Having this cappuccino just sitting out, and I remember paying with like a €5 or €6, and it was a coin, and I was like, what the fuck? This coin can buy a coffee, because in case I need notes and stuff. But yeah, that was a very, very special moment. There are actually too many to answer that, Bradley. Damn it, don't give me such hard questions. But yeah, they're different moments, different trips and stuff like that. Everywhere I've gone has had a special moment. Okay, cool. Cynthia then says, after this book, okay, for those of you that are watching this, this is the book here. For those of you that are listening, I'm holding it up. I'm doing a shameless ass plug. After this book, are you planning in a couple of years to write another? It's a good question. Right now, I could literally think of nothing worse than writing another book. I think because I pushed to do it in a month, creatively, it was incredibly draining. Not in a bad way, it's just, it became my sole focus and my daily vlogs. For those of you that don't know, I make a daily YouTube video that also goes live onto Facebook, and it's where I document every single thing I do in my life, and the purpose of that is to try and show you guys the work ethic and answer questions on a daily basis and a whole bunch of other stuff. If you haven't checked that out, the links to that will be down below on whatever platform you're consuming this on. But it was all consuming, and so right now I don't think I'll write another one, which is why I'm glad you said in a couple of years. But I definitely do think I'll write another one. It will probably be based on maybe life philosophy, my thoughts on patience, work ethic, maybe answering questions about balancing work-life balance, dealing with family, something along those lines. I think will be life philosophy based. But yeah, it will be in a couple of years. I don't think I'm going to hop into that too soon yet, just simply because of how demanding it is. It's a great question. And yeah, thank you so much for sending it in. Sorry, I had a little bit of a zone out there. All right, the next one, and this will be the final question. Oh no, there's two here, my apologies. Next one comes in from Kathleen, and she says, if you weren't doing what you're doing now, what would you like to do? Okay, so a little bit of a story time here. Originally, when I don't know, when I was getting older and when I was leaving high school and stuff, my intention was not to become an influencer. It was not to create YouTube content. It was not to be doing travel content and recording a podcast in my room with a microphone with a bed that I just bought. So my initial goal, or my intention, was either to go into medicine, into the field of pediatrics, probably pediatric cardiology, or to go into law. And that was where I was stepping into in high school as a massive nerd, and that was kind of the direction I was moving into, was going to be medicine or law. So I think maybe if I didn't get caught up in this, maybe I do that. That being said, in 2011, when I was still in high school, I was already a signed model. I was a little bit overweight and I wasn't booking any work, but I was signed then. And I've always had this dream and aspiration to have fame or public acclaim. And I don't know if that sounds egocentric or narcissistic, but that's just a fact. I always wanted to have international recognition and fame. And so I think naturally I was gravitating towards that. And then different events transpired in my life. I became more introspective. My grandmother passed away. And I started asking myself, like, look, when you're lying on your deathbed, when you are about to die, what would be the shit that you regret not doing, Matt? And when you ask yourself that, any of you that are listening to this or watching this, when you ask yourself, what are you going to regret when you are lying on your deathbed? That shit that you regret is what you need to base your life on. And for me, that was not having traveled the world. That was not having inspired people. And so there was no regret in there of, oh, I wish I had saved a child's life, or oh, I wish I had won a court case. And whether you like that or don't like that, that was my truth. And so I just decided, cool, you need to build a life and a brand and a career around traveling the world and inspiring people. It's fucking simple. Assess it and then build your life around that. And so I think if I wasn't doing this, I don't know, I'd probably be a writer for a magazine, travel magazine, anything that I could travel with or inspire people. But I don't know. I mean, I think I'd end up doing what I'm doing more or less anyway, or yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll be a doctor. But I don't know. I think I'd always gravitate towards this because I needed that. I needed to be in the public eye. I needed to be answering questions. The competitiveness though of medicine and law still exists within me. That academic side of me still exists within me. I still want to be the best. I still want to be the biggest. But I'm also just like, I realize that that's only going to come from adding value. And so my competition no longer exists, or it's a lot less, it doesn't exist between myself and somebody else, but rather between myself and myself. I'm going to repeat that. My competition no longer exists between myself and somebody else. It now exists between myself and myself. My competition is my potential. And there's a line from a Russ song. If you don't know who Russ is, he's an American rapper. Guys, please check him out. He's fucking cool. But he says, yeah, I'm inspired by my own potential, something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing. And I feel the same. Like, my competition is what I can see for myself to be achieved. And so I motivate myself through the possibility of what can be for myself. I hope that makes sense. That was a lot of myselfs. All right, the final question also comes in from Kathleen. And she says, what is one place you absolutely must visit? Oh, fuck, we actually answered this a little earlier on. If I had to choose, if I could only go to one single place before I kick the bucket, it would have to be Italy. And I would love to be able to take my mother there. It's been a dream of mine for as long as I can remember. And I would love to go and sit there and eat pasta and drink really, 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 really good coffee, as I'm doing right now, and eat a gelato and just take in the culture. That is one place I would absolutely have to visit. And that is it, guys. That is the first ever podcast recorded. This is a classic Q&A. This is the first kind of piece of content that is falling into the umbrella bracket of In Your Ears with Matt Ross. And I want to finish this up by saying a massive thank you for taking the time to listen to this and to watch this. Your attention and your support means more to me than you will ever understand. And I say that with the deepest sincerity and earnestness. Guys, a massive thank you. Please, on whatever platform you're watching this on, or consuming this on, or listening to this on, please give it a vote. I know on certain podcast apps you can vote. Please give a follow. Let me know if you thought this was absolutely shit. Let me know if there's something you want to hear me talk on next. Let me know if it was great. But most importantly, please just give me your feedback. I want to grow this. I want to continue adding value in any way I can, sharing my thoughts, maybe some tips about things. Just, yeah, guys, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking the time to consume this, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.